I'm just blessed that I'm healthy right now. And like I said, man, I'm really happy to be out here on the field and, flying around with our defense, being around the offensive guys, just learning and soaking in a lot of knowledge as much as I can, so I can apply it every time I get in the field.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
Go Birds! Thanks, Zach. Thank you, guys.
I think his comfort levels increased so much. Like I said, our quarterback meetings have been so good. The dialogue between him, myself, and Scott and everybody in there.
Give me some respect right now.
Back together weekend here with the champs at the NovaCare facility. Gerald McCoy with me, Mike Garafolo. Back together weekend all day on NFL Network. What do you got? You see us national treasure over here? We got a ring. We got, when we come to the Eagles, we always get gift surprises and all that. You can't keep that. I'm a big kid. It is sweet. You can't keep that, but you're gonna have to keep that. You can actually win that thing if you're an Eagles fan by entering their raffle. You can get raise money for the Eagles Autism Foundation. $10 gets you 100 entries. $25 gets you 250, including some guaranteed gifts, including some pictures with the trophy and some other game day stuff. Gerald's just gonna put that thing on right there.
Jalen, you didn't want to wear it, so I'll do
Yeah,
it.
there you go. Gerald is on it. Tune in for more fascinating insight and analysis just like this. NFL Network all day today and tomorrow. Back together weekend.
guys been able to build the foundation for what this offense is going to be in 25?
Well, it began in OTAs, and that's kind of shortchanging it. I think all of the conversations we've had since he's come over here when I was in my second year, my first year starting, all the conversations began then. And so he has an opportunity to lead the group, and he's been very, very pointed and clear and been leading with great conviction, I'd say. And so that's always encouraging from my spot, and we're just continuing those conversations to try and build and evolve. You know, I think the beauty of it is that we've been together and we've been able to see different iterations of the Eagles find ways to win. And so that's something that we embrace, and that's something everyone has to embrace for us to try and do some of the things that we're trying to do. And so got a lot of confidence in him going in, and we just want to continue to stack good days on good days.
This is what I look like before practice. My name's Joe Malata, and this is me after practice. Get out of here.
This is me before practice. This is me after practice. I gotta hydrate.
This is what I look like before practice.
This is me after practice.
This is me before practice.
This is me after practice.
This is what I look like before practice.
This is how I look after practice. Jersey's a little darker. Feeling good. Head's a little shinier too.
This is me before practice. This is me after practice.
This is me before practice. This is me after practice.
This is me before practice. This is me after practice.
That's what I look like, yeah. You guys switch off on shorts. Appreciate it.
He don't know who it belongs to, where's it going.
Breathe. What's up, bro? Let me tell you something about Ray. His accent is super fake. Reed, can we get you to imitate my lotto real quick? Best accent on the table, 100%. Can we get you to imitate my lotto? What's your best accent? Come on.
Come on, let's hear it.
Say like I signed Super Bowl 52 merch, and then I feel like
Super Bowl 52 merch.
and after I signed it, I feel like I just did stolen.
And after I signed it, I feel like I did stolen power.
What's going on, everybody? Day 3 of training camps in the books here at the NovaCare Complex, a Saturday morning practice. And we've talked so much this offseason about the inexperience and the unproven players the Eagles have at edge. Nolan Smith, Jaylx Hunt, and then you go to defensive tackle, Moro, Jamo, Jordan Davis. But the flip side of that inexperience and that untapped potential is days like Saturday when all of them are playing well, and you can see how much talent this defense could have along the defensive line. Jaylx Hunt today should have had a sack probably against Jalen Hurts. In a game, he maybe brings them down. Jordan Davis had a really good pass rush at one point where he had to pull up from hitting Jalen Hurts because you don't hit the quarterback in practice. And Moro Jamo had, a good day as well. Him and Jordan Davis both on one play batted a pass down from Jalen. So, the Eagles' offensive line is very good. It's not easy to go up against them in these practices, but you see the experience the young players are getting, and you just see the upside. Are they all going to have amazing years? Probably not. They're all in different stages of their development. But what you can see is how much potential they have. And some of these guys will get paid. So they have a lot to prove, but at the end of the day, the potential is absolutely there. And on days like Saturday morning, you can see why the team's excited about what these players could pull off. So another good day of practice. Talk to you guys Monday.
How you doing? Hey, Jihaad. Good. How are you? Pretty good.
Jihaad, after the rehab from surgery, what's it feel like to get out there? You're doing team drills. Just how's it been so far?
I mean, as good as it could be right now. Just very excited to be out there with the group that we have this year. And I'm just really excited to, just get to work each and every day.
Is this sooner than you expected?
Say it again?
Is this sooner than you expected to be out here?
I mean, I just trusted the process in my rehab. I'm still rehabbing. Yeah.
When did they let you know that you would be able to go at least a little bit first day of camp?
Really just talks within, my rehab people, all the trainers in there, and, coaches and Howie and Nick, just understanding my process and, what steps I need to, take moving forward.
How did you check the mental part of it when you weren't able to get a field?
Just being where my feet are, right? I'm not out there with the guys, but I can take mental reps as much as I can. Just practicing like a pro mentally, so physically and mentally when I get out on the field, I gradually know what I'm doing, day by day.
Big six for instincts in a young linebacker. How much of that do you think is natural? How much can you actually improve on that?
I would say, most of my instincts are, God-gifted abilities, that I display out here on the field every day, as much as I can. So
They have you listed as limited. What kind of they have your participation listed?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
They have your participation listed as limited. What kind of restrictions are there on you right now?
Right now, I'm just taking it day by day. Like I said earlier, man, I'm really excited to, be out here and play football again. Like I said earlier, I just was taking mental reps a lot. So now I can get out here and, fly around.
Will you be able to meet pads on Monday?
Yes.
Now, what kind of learner are you? Like, was the challenge of getting into the playbook something that you really embraced and that you found very natural?
Yeah. I think, just being a linebacker in general, you always got to, be a lifelong learner, at any given aspect, honestly. With me and my process, everything was really mental. It's still mental. Just keeping my mental, my eyes in the playbook helps me very well, when I come out on the field and perform.
Are you learning both inside linebacker spots?
Say it again?
Are you learning both inside linebacker spots?
Yes.
And then I think after the first practice, saw you talking to Wash after practice.
Yeah.
How much do they bring you along in terms of like edge stuff?
Yeah. I think, the biggest thing is just focusing on, the now, focusing on, being a great linebacker. And then, of course, on the side after practice, just get a couple reps in, just with my pass rushing ability and, making sure I'm taking the right steps in that.
A few times after you're taking a rep or something, you go right up to Saquon and you're talking to him.
Yeah.
How vital of a resource is
Very resourceful. He's a great leader. He's a great guy to, just be around, not even just in football, but just in life, just talking to him outside of here. I really appreciate him.
Sort of piggybacking off that with Nakobe Dean, because he was rehabbing during the spring with you. You guys were talking a lot. How helpful has he been to sort of lock you in with those mental reps? How helpful has he been to lock in with some of those mental reps when you had to take them?
Yeah. Nakobe, he's been there and done it, so he's a guy that can help me learn it, just as much as he learned it in the past and, just pass it on to the, to the rookies in the room. That's a great guy, also a great leader, and, he helps us.
How much more involved is Vic's defense than maybe Alabama was a big time program, but how much more involved is this defense for a linebacker than it was at Alabama?
I think, that was the past, of course. This defense is a very great defense, along with our great defensive coordinator that we have here. I think, just stepping into this year for our defense is, step-by-step process. Everybody just being on one accord and communicating.
What's it been like to learn from Vic Fangio? As a rookie to come in, Fangio obviously a ton of experience. What's it been like learning from him so far?
It's been great, He doesn't do extra talking. He gets straight to the point, and, he expects you, to understand it and to apply it on the field.
He's worked with some pretty famous Hall of Fame type guys who have been in the Hall of Fame at inside linebacker spot. He said he spent a lot of time this spring talking to you. Was there one or two things that stood out in terms of like what he has conveyed to you about how to be in position that maybe you didn't know before?
Yeah. I would say, just coming into the NFL, it's different structural things, from a coaching standpoint that, he explains, within the defensive scheme that we have here, and, the structure and, the linebacker position that I'm playing, just understanding that role, knowing how to play it, and, just performing at my best when I get out here on the field.
Growing up pretty close to here, you had any family friends come out to camp? You had to watch or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I had my mom, my dad, my brother, and my uncle. He came out, so it's very great being back home. So family could come out here and watch me.
With sideline right now, there's a starting role up for grabs. How are you balancing just the need to get healthy and get back into the swing of things, with also the prospect that you could potentially compete for that role?
Yeah, I'm just blessed that I'm healthy right now. And like I said, man, I'm really happy to be out here on the field and flying around with our defense, being around the offensive guys, and just learning and soaking in a lot of knowledge as much as I can, so I can apply it every time I get in the field.
Jeff was alluding to the great linebackers. You brought up any of those names. Has Vic, when he's talking to you, mentioned any of those guys, or brought up the names of the great linebackers he's coaching? So who?
No, he hasn't.
Last one. He hasn't showed you film of specific players yet?
Say it again?
He hasn't showed any film of specific players to you yet?
We watch, different defenses sometimes, understanding the schemes, understanding, just the situations in the game, the down and distances, what offensive schemes there are, in the league. So.
All right, we got Jaylx Hunt. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Cool. What's up, y'all?
How are you? Jaylx, you've been getting some rave reviews. I don't know if you heard, but Jordan Mailata said some really nice things about you, Nolan. How are the first couple of days of camp go? How do you feel?
You know, first couple days of camp, getting back into football shape, running to the ball, being under Vic Fangio's rule, you know, got to hustle. But I'm really just working, head down, getting prepared for the season with everybody else. Shout out Jordan, though. And Nolan, I'm really trying to keep up with Nolan. Nolan sets a high bar in the room, coming back after the season he had, a real good season. So I'm trying to fall in line and meet the standard.
How do you keep up with Nolan?
Just work. That's it. He's a workhorse. And, you know, it's going to show if you don't work in that room especially. So just keep my head down and work with him.
You've gone against Jordan quite a bit, I think.
Yeah.
What's that experience been like? Of course, going against Lane Johnson, I guess, a lot last year.
Different setters, both great tackles. So I'm learning the same way I was last year. So just asking questions after reps, after practice. Me and Jordan, after our conditioning, we just topped it up for a little bit. I'm asking him questions about his sets and how I can beat him in practice. And Jordan's such a competitor. You know, he knows that if I get better, it's going to make him better. So he's trying to tell me all the secrets so that we can both benefit later on in the season.
I saw A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley did not leave you alone at practice.
Thank you for saying that. They was not. Somebody write that down, please. I'm going to clip that because Saquon was saying I was following him. All right, bet. So, yes, they were following me into the – yeah. My bad. What's up?
Well, what do they say to you? What do they give you a hard time about?
I look at them as role models. You know, when your players is such high caliber as them, you know, and as humble as they are, they kind of just, you know, bring great energy every day. So whenever I can mess with them, I like messing with them. But I really just like to be around them, ask questions, pick their brain a little bit. So on the way in, I was just letting them know that defense won today. Defense won the third downs, and he was talking about, like, all right, like Saquon talking about double AJ. He's telling you got to double AJ, but everybody's just working. It's all good fun. It's all good competitive fun. So that's all it was, chirping back and forth.
Hey, Jaylx, what's something that you're doing this summer that you would not have been able to do last summer?
A lot. I did a lot this summer just in an effort to learn. So last year, just getting into shape so that I can practice as hard as I could so I can learn as much as I could. And then I learned so much last year that I put into effect this summer. So I'm going to different pass rushing summits. I'm talking to different rushers, top rushers in the league, just picking their brain this year. I went to see them. I went to work out with them just to know some of the secrets of the trade, you know, so I can use them still a little bit. You know, they say great ones steal. So I'm trying to steal a little bit, pick from everybody's rushing styles, but also find my own.
How does Vic let you know that he's expecting more from you this year?
Yeah, he gives you opportunities. He's the type of guy, you know, I'm so grateful that he's believing in me to be putting me out there in the field, to want me on his defense, to be able to work for him. So I don't take that lightly at all. So whenever I'm given an opportunity to do anything in a package and on the regular downs, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do it. Talk to him, ask him questions, just work.
Yeah. The guys who are picking their brains. Did you work out with some guys in Houston?
Yeah, I went to the pass rushing summit. So I'm out there. Not Lane. He did the tackle. I'm out there. Von Miller, Max Crosby, Cam Jordan, like everybody. Nolan was out there with me. So really just picking the brains. Willie McGinnis, like just asking questions. Why do you long arm like this? How do you set up a long arm? How do you set up your spin? How do you set this up? What's your counters? Really get into pass rushing details that a lot of people overlook, that don't really care about, but when you're in a room, how I'm in a room with Coach Wash, and he has such a high standard, and he loves rushing so much, and I love rushing so much, you kind of get into the nitty-gritty details that not a lot of people care about and a lot of people overlook, and that's what I'm trying to benefit and be a technician on.
High up there. Yeah. Year two for you, what is it like to be in that company?
It's very humbling. You know, those are people you aspire to be. Those are people you aspire to be like, and like I said, I have no problem picking the brains of anybody who's in a better position or in a position that I want to be in. I've never been that type of guy who's I have a chip on my shoulder, but I'm not cocky about it or anything. I'm a confident person, but I can understand and I'm confident enough to realize that people are not necessarily better than me, but in positions that I want to be in, and they've done things that I want to do. So I'm gonna ask them about those experiences. Say again?
Portal Jomo.
My dog.
Yeah.
Twitchy, man. Twitchy. He's one of those people on the inside. I don't got to worry about it. If you mess with him, JC, JD, like Book, anybody on the inside, yeah, you on your own. You on your own. So especially Morrow, he's a workhorse. Twitchy guy, strong man, always hustling to the ball. If you watch film, you're gonna see him 20 yards down the field chasing the ball. I mean, he's made tackles. Book is the same way. So having somebody like that inside, you know, I can't be outshined by a D lineman. You know, I got a chip on my shoulder. I'm an edge. So yeah, great guy.
What goes behind the scenes on the?
Yeah. For sure. Be who you are, man. Rush how you rush. It's not just one person that said that. It was all of them, and they all have very distinct styles of rushing. Find out who you are, stick to it, and just hone your skill. So talking to Coach K, he was saying he doesn't fear the man who knows 10,000 kicks, but the man that knows one kick and has done it 10,000 times. So that's what I'm really focusing on. I'm trying to master my one kick so that I can rush against anybody the same way and beat them on it, regardless.
Do you consider yourself a power rusher, a speed rusher? What do you think you're best?
That's what I'm figuring out right now. That's what camp is all about. Finding out what you want to do during the season, honing in your skills. It's third day, so I'm throwing everything I can at Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson, whoever else, Lamb, whoever wants to step out there, just so I can see different sets and different moves against them.
In the behind-the-scenes clips that we saw last year, in camp, he called home almost in awe of being with the first team, going against Lane Johnson. Is that sensation gone now? Like, I guess, does it feel different now going against those guys?
And it's always glory to God to be out here, and I don't take this for granted. This is something that I haven't been able to experience a whole bunch in my life. So just being on grounds like this, around people, surrounded by people who are of this caliber and also great people, is a very humbling experience. And every time I come out here, like before camp, I walked out here and nobody was out here. It was just me. And I called my homeboys from back home, FaceTime, just in awe, saying thank you, called all my family members and whatnot, because it's still very much so a blessing. But at the same time, since it is my second year, I'm a lot more comfortable being here. And it's something that I wanna get used to, because when you get used to something, it's like, wow, I really belong here. I'm really here. And I definitely feel like I belong here. But it's just amazing to be here. Like I said, all glory to God.
All right. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Joe.
Get out the shower. Oh, he's just sweaty booty. I'm cool. Now I'm good like this. I'm cool. Oh, you brought it here. All right. I just couldn't do it. How y'all doing today?
There's so much competition on defense and secondary specifically. How much does that bring out of you guys? How healthy is that?
It's great. All competition is good competition. You always talk about iron sharpens iron, whether it's offense versus defense, but being in the same room with guys who wants to compete, who aren't afraid of competition, it brings out the best of you. And then the good thing about the competition is no one is afraid to help the next man. So I think that's what I love the most about not just the room, but this group in general, to be able to help each other one by one, ask questions to the defense, ask questions to the offense, what they're looking for, how to get better. So the competition just brings everybody up.
Whenever he's moving Cooper around, he's talking about how in the genesis of that, it might be how those positions at safety and corner work out for themselves. Do you take that as that you need to prove to yourself and to Vic that you need to be on the field full time?
Repeat the first part.
With Cooper playing safety or corner.
Okay. I think it just gives everybody an opportunity to show what they can do, regardless of who's where and who and what's what. You never know where they may actually go, and that's the great thing about football. They always say the best ability is availability. So wherever it is you can play and where you can be, you just want to be able to go out there and showcase. And when they give you tools or coaching points at one position, everybody should be writing them down, and we all do, because you never know. They might say, all right, ask you a question about it, or just throw you out there, see if you've been listening, see if you're prepared. And you might not get those physical reps, but mentally, if you can get those and go out there and show them on the film, it'll help you out a lot.
How do you approach your role specifically as a veteran guy in a young cornerback room, but you also have that significant competition you were just talking about?
I done been through every phase in life already. You know what I mean? I done started, I done went in the first round, I done went and had to only play third downs, come off the bench and not be there. So to be at the top and to be at the bottom is one of the things that I appreciate that the Lord has let me see, So I think having those experiences and then being able to talk to the guys so they don't get discouraged, because I done been there before, and just being that extra voice or whatever it may be to reassure them. And I only do it when they need and they ask me to, because at the end of the day, I know when I was young and I had the older guys talking to me, that went through one ear and out the other, but it retained, because now when I'm older and I go through it and I experience it, I'm able to, each one teach one, as they say, and be able to pass that along to them. So I think that's helpful, just to keep working on my game and keep learning from them guys, because they do a lot of things that I appreciate and that I like, and I tell them every day after we finish, like, I appreciate y'all regardless of what's going on, because you never know how many of these you get, and you never know how your opportunity may be. So you just got to be in that moment, be where your feet are, and appreciate everything.
Is defense different than any you've been around in terms of the way you go about the business?
I think every defense that I played for has always been different. And one thing I would say will be different is just Vic and his demeanor, and how he talks and how he approaches the game. And you can tell that he is very respectable. And the only thing that I could probably be related to would be when I was in Tennessee my first year with Dick LeBeau, and having that that guy up there, and that like that's Dick LeBeau. And then when he speaks, everybody listens. You can feel that, you see that, and then he can tell you good stories and help you out, and you don't get discouraged because he done seen it all and been through it all. And that's what I loved about Dick LeBeau, and what I appreciate a lot about Vic. And he's able to show us the mistakes to be able to correct, and then if we make them, show them some other league guys doing it as well. Understand like it's okay, but we have to learn from it, and I appreciate that.
Where do you historically play more, left or right?
I done been everywhere. I done been left, been right. I done traveled the number ones. I done played inside. So I think that's the best thing about being. That's why it's called corner. It's not left corner, right corner. It's corner. You can put me on the field corner, the other corner. You can put me outside on the corner on the street. You know what I mean? It's still gonna be the corner. It's the same thing. So you just go out there and understand and embrace that when you're out there. You never know what may happen, but you should always be prepared and be ready to go.
Since you spent the spring with him now, like you're part of training camp, what are you noticing about him on the field and how much he's progressing?
He impresses me a lot for the fact that he's 6'2". I always say he's 220. He might say he's not that big, but he can run a 4.2 any given day. He can wake up and just run that fast. And I think that's very impressive to me. And for him to be as composed and to be as humble as he is. You would think somebody, when they got all those tangibles, they'll be an arrogant person, but he is very humble. He helps me out a lot when I have any questions. Like I said, I didn't know he's from the West Coast. He's from Arizona, so to be able to talk to him and have a similar lingo and similar connection that way is always better. And I appreciate him a lot for being able to help me out and vice versa.
What's it been like going against Devonta and AJ, two top receivers in the league on a daily basis?
Oh, man, I love it. I talk to those guys every day after practice, whatever it may be, ask them what they were thinking here, or if I do this, what you thinking, or vice versa. So I think just having that, as I said earlier, iron sharpen iron just helps bring the best out of you. And you have to embrace it, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you understand if you're going against two elite receivers every day, they're getting you ready and prepared. And, it's a quote that Jordan says, you don't go into a game or go into anything fearful or worried because you put in the work. And if you put in the work against those two guys and hone in your craft and be confident in yourself to go out there and do it day after day and understand, as Dick LeBeau used to say, or Deshae Townsend, they get paid to make plays too. But at the end of the day, you just got to go out there and compete.
Here, has there been any coaches, players that have kind of talked to you about how they want to get to another Super Bowl for guys like you that haven't been a part of one?
It's one of those things that don't got to be said. You can just tell by how they work, how they approach the game. When I first came in, I tell them, whatever y'all want me to do, need me to do, willing to do, I'm going to do it. Obviously, I got the foundation, everything laid out. I just want to show y'all that I'm a part of the group, and I'm buying in, I'm bought into whatever you guys, whatever the formula is. So you don't really have to say much. You can just go out there and see how they work. Okay, cool. I got to do that as well. So I think that's the great thing, that even though that they won, it's not them walking around like, yeah, we won a Super Bowl. It's like, all right, well, shit, let's keep working. Let's keep getting better. Let's keep finding ways to succeed. And that's what I love the most about it.
What did you know about Quinyon when you were first coming to Philly, and now that you've spent several months with him, what has impressed you most about him?
First time I actually seen Quinyon, we was watching tape. This when I was in New York, and I don't know who he was guarding. I can't remember the team, but I was telling the guys in New York, like, man, I ain't really seen a rookie hoop like this. You know what I mean? Like, he's doing this thing. They looked at me crazy, and I'm like, all right, whatever. And then actually meet him, see how mild-mannered he is, how cool he is, humbled, hard worker, very smart, and just a good dude. I think regardless of what everyone does on this field, the thing that I appreciate most is that everybody is a good person, and they welcome me with open arms and just show me love. Like, I was a long-distance cousin at the family reunion. Because I was, you know what I mean? And it's good to have that feeling. It makes you appreciate not just them, not just the organization, but ball itself. Appreciate y'all.
I think really well. Obviously we still don't have pads, so it's kind of similar to OTAs, but I really enjoyed that OTA time, just getting to know everybody, kind of getting that locker room vibe. And it's been fun, it's been good, and having fun being out here and competing.
What's been your impression of the guys in the running back room so far?
Awesome. I've known Say for a little bit, obviously both being from the East Coast, having some mutual coaches and friends in the league, so that was pretty easy to get to know each other. And then Will and all those other guys in there are awesome to be around. And so it's fun. We just push each other every day, make each other a little bit better.
Coming off last year, and I know you said you've been ready for a long time.
Yeah.
How excited are you to get on those pads since you were unable to play last year?
I'm excited, man. I've been playing football since I was 8 years old, and so dang near 18, 19 years. So to be able to be out here and playing some ball, I'm excited. I can't wait. You got one more time. Yeah, it's been awesome, man. I like the way the offense has been running, man, and it's cool. It's one thing when you're somewhere else for a long time, like most guys who go to a different team, just kind of there's only so many words in football, so kind of relearning the same word as something else and stuff like that. But it's pretty digestible, the offense here, and I'm excited to just keep it coming a little bit faster, not think so much.
Kevin was talking earlier about how you fit into the offense, about the receiving ability. I know it's too early to talk about like how many snaps or reps you're going to get, but how do you feel like you fit as far as just your skills in this offense?
Yeah, I think, hey, our room is great, obviously. We got a lot of awesome weapons on this offense. And, I think as far as like my individual ability, I feel like I can pride myself on being able to do anything out of the backfield. And I've done that throughout my career, whether it's catching, running, pass pro, I've done that in my career. So I think however they see fit to use me and my skill set, there's a lot of guys in that room that can do a lot of things. So it's always great when you're on a team with a lot of weapons, keeps the defense guessing. And it's fun to be out there, and you might get a play call that defense might not be expected drawn up for you.
How would you describe yourself as a pass catcher?
Just that, I caught a lot of balls, from quarterbacks, and I scored receiving touchdowns before, just like running. I played running back for a long time in the league, so I think that's all just kind of part of it. I can do it all, so I'm excited about it.
How does your
Yeah, that's the new kick return. It's essentially kind of like, if you're looking at it from a running back perspective, it's kind of like running an inside zone where you get the ball and then you just kind of go get vertical. So that's definitely new for me. But hey, I'm excited for the opportunity. Excited to go out there and just keep playing ball. Back in high school, we did some returning. Back in high school, we just did like whatever to get the ball. Like I did wildcat a little bit. So, but it's exciting, man. We're having fun getting the reps now. So that's what this time's for. Just kind of getting a feel for it.
As go on next week, you said we expect you to play last year.
I don't think so. I don't really, think anything about that. I'm not focused on last year at all or anything like that. I play ball, pads on, pads off, OTAs, camp, postseason, whatever it is, I'm playing ball. So that's just something added as the ramp-up period goes on. But same mindset for me. Putting pads on doesn't change. I've had pads on my whole life.
You actually had a play today where you were tackling around last supposed to tackle, went down, got right back up. Is that pretty much an indication?
Yeah, we were running a screen play. It's hard for guys to block with no pads, so all of our feet got tangled up there a little bit. But no, there's no hesitation, nothing in the back of my mind, man. I'm just playing ball. That play right there, you got to go get vertical, get as many yards as you can, third down. So in a real game, probably putting my pads down and running through that. But, you got to practice like a professional, too, try to keep everybody up, obviously. And when you fall, watch out for everybody's legs. So try to keep everybody healthy. It's a long time, so we're playing some games. And as this team knows, it's a long season here. So
when you go down, though, is that, during the regular game, you're going to be down. Is that at least where you're starting up?
Yeah.
I'm fine.
I've known I've been fine for a long time. The only person thinking about any of that injury stuff is everybody else. Nothing from me. I've been squatting. We got the squat competitions in there. We do all this stuff, all OTAs. We've been running, hitting the bags, all that good stuff. I'm good to go. But football is football, and football is fun.
Have you and your wife had a chance to explore the food scene yet?
We have, yeah. My wife, she runs our Dining with the Dillons account. She's a big foodie influencer, and we did a bunch of the Rittenhouse stuff during OTA, so that whole little circuit. We had a little easy day, so I tried to be a little healthy. I went to Blue Corn, the Mexican restaurant. Fire. Tacos are amazing, and they're light too. They're not like the big crispy ones. Trying to have a good healthy diet. But yeah, a little cheat day. Some tacos, no cheese, fantastic.
And during OTAs, what's the value?
Man, I'm a steak and potatoes guy, man. Not Barkley Prime, Butcher and Singer. Butcher and Singer has my heart so far. I haven't been everywhere in Philly, obviously, but that place is fire.
Have you crossed paths with Jihaad Campbell much in any of the team reps? And I guess what's been your impression of him so far?
A little bit. I think he's a great young talent. Obviously, you can see why he was drafted where he is. He's going to be a playmaker for this team, but also in this league for a long time. So it's really cool. It's my favorite thing always with rookies coming from like OTAs when they get here and then they get back and it's like, oh, now stuff's starting to click for them a little bit. And we had a rep, I think the last open practice, so 2 days ago, where he's kind of like guarding some of the backs and man and stuff, and he moves really well for a guy his size. So it's good to have him on our side.
You mentioned Saquon a little bit from previously. Has he helped make your transition to Philly a little bit easier? And what stands out about him as a teammate?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one, obviously, he's a tremendous teammate. I think all you guys who have interviewed him and stuff, you've seen how he interacts with the team and stuff like that. He's a very team first guy. But also, I think him coming here last year and being his first year here. When I'm asking him like, hey, like, what's this like? He's like, oh man, I had that same question. Or yeah, it's tough because this, in my old offense was this, so this is how I relearned stuff. So really just like a lot of word association, and then just kind of understanding the way every team, every offensive line has a different blocking philosophy and how they're coming off stuff. So slowing the game down a little bit, pressing the line on something where I would maybe previously, like, hey, this is going to open up, give it a sec, be patient here, or trying to learn the little nuances of how our team kind of plays things out with a lot of stuff that he went through last year. And so it's great to have him, obviously, on the field, but also as a resource and as a good friend.
Did you win your spot competition?
I did not when we did it in OTAs, but we'll keep it going.
Who won?
It's tough. Say did win though. Say did win. We had a lot on there.
No, apologies if we've been asked this before, but I was just talking to Kevin too earlier about whether this is still a run-oriented offense. You talked about how it being the Eagles' offense. As you looked at it, like what was your impression coming in? What's your impression now when it comes to how the run game is part of this team?
Yeah, I think when you look at the offense, and like you said, the Eagles' offense, you take a step back and you look at, like I said earlier, the weapons that are on this team. You really can't say. I think it's really just one of those things where, as an offensive coordinator, you're blessed in the sense that whatever that defense is preparing for, they want to try to stop the run today. Okay, you got amazing receivers outside, tight end. You got a quarterback who can run and pass. Like, it's one of those things where you have so many weapons. So I don't think the Eagles' offense is a run or a pass. It's just really whatever's clicking, we're going to feed the hot hand. And there's a lot of talented guys out here on this offense.
You mentioned some of those nuances with the running game. You were on some good teams in Green Bay.
Yeah.
The Eagles are known with Stout and Jamal for their running game. Have you gotten a feel of what the Eagles have done so well as a running team?
Yeah, I think so. As far as on paper, real football starts when you kind of put on the pads. O-line can really start to, push people out the way and everything. But no, I think, we've watched enough tape. I've gone back and kind of watched last year's saves and even in years past, and most of the same guys up front. Just kind of what the game plan is, how they're coming off doubles, things like that, where they're pushing to. And, they obviously have a lot of success and have for many, many years in succession. So as a running back, it's a great place to be. It's a great offensive line to run behind. And, I'm excited for the opportunity.
I apologize if you didn't ask, but, sometimes when you get something taken away from you, you realize how much you miss. What's it been like for you getting back out here from that standpoint?
Yeah, no, like I said, kind of piggybacking on that. I'm excited for the opportunity. I've been playing football my whole life since I was, 7, 8 years old. So then you're 20 years. So to get back out here, it's always fun. It was great to get out here during OTAs, get used to the guys, get used to kind of the playbook, the offense a little bit. And then, that's what this whole period's for, just to kind of assimilate myself within this offense, figure out exactly how I can help a Super Bowl team be even better and what I can bring to the table.
Did you miss the guys, the camaraderie, the competition, what your body felt?
I want to say, just competition, honestly. Like, it's one of those things that everybody says. I know a lot of guys who play sports and then they retire. It's like, well, golf's the only thing that, brings me that sense of competition nowadays. Well, I'm not good at golf, so I need to get back to the football field.
Rounds in the mix, everyone?
Perfect. Appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, fire away. You guys have a good summers?
Yeah.
Back. We're back now. Here we go.
Kevin,
Yeah.
Jalen is completing a high percentage of his passes his first few days. Just what have you seen from him, and what do you attribute to him? At this point in his career, the ball really doesn't hit the ground in practice.
I think Jalen's done a really good job of just kind of understanding everything now. He's becoming a really complete player in the pass game. He puts a lot of work into it. Quarterback meetings have been tremendous as far as just understanding what the defense is doing and what we're trying to do and how to attack them. And he takes a lot of pride in it, right? I mean, he really, over the years, have taken a lot of pride in not turning the ball over and completing balls and understanding how to stay on schedule and keep us moving in the right direction.
I know you're team focused, this whole organization is team focused, but personally, I'm sure this has been one of your goals in your career as you got into this business. Just what was the first couple of days like for you from a personal level? Was it surrealness, anything, just as you're out there in a different role?
Yeah, it's not much different. It feels the same. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's much different at all. I mean, it's been fun. The meetings have been great. A lot of energy in the offensive meetings as a whole unit. I kind of gone to each position room a little bit and spent some time in there. Tight ends, I was in the other day going over some stuff with J. Mike and everybody, and it was good. It's been fun. It's really not much different. It's probably there's a little more just talking to everybody, but overall it's about the same. But I've really enjoyed it. Like I said, the energy's been great. On the field, the guys have been tremendous, and in the classroom, everybody's been really, really good.
I'm sure you're still figuring out what you're planning out. I'm going to spend time with this group today, this group today. Do you have to think about that more?
Sometimes, but I kind of like to talk to everybody. I kind of like to try to get everybody's opinion on stuff and spend time with the O-line and wander around with the quarterbacks. Obviously, I spend a lot of time there, but the running backs and walkthroughs especially, I think it's really important that you really talk to the guys at each group. Right. So when we're doing these walkthroughs, that's really where I'm very intentional on spending time with the O-line, talking through things as we're doing it, because it's slowed down a little bit. We're not full speed like we are out there in practice. But I think a little bit you do, but more so you just want to make sure everybody's comfortable with what we're doing.
I'm sure you're still figuring out the identity of this offense.
Mm-hmm.
Fundamentally, is it still a run-oriented foundation?
Yeah, I think we're still the Eagles offense. I don't think that'll change. I think it starts with the run game up front, and then we just build from there. And then obviously we'd like to try new things here and there, and we'll see kind of how that goes throughout training camp and where it leads us to.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Jalen running the ball? And if he can maintain his pace as he enters the season?
I think it's all situational, right? So when he wants the ball in his hands, he's going to do it, and he's going to let us know. And then really it just comes down to if he needs to make a play and he knows he wants to, he's going to do it, right? So whether it's just dropping back and scrambling and making a play with his legs, or if he feels like now's the time that I want to start running the ball, we'll give him that opportunity.
I can follow philosophically speaking, Joe, when you look at the quarterback position historically, quarterbacks and running the ball, there's a certain cutoff point for most of them in terms of like when they stop doing it as much or when they don't want to risk injury. Do you have basically the experience of watching that? Do you have a feeling of when
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's really a specific time frame. I think really when you look at it over the years, where he's getting more yards now currently is more on scrambling, right? And the Super Bowl, he did a tremendous job of getting out of the pocket, making plays with his legs. And I had a guy, Ryan Fitzpatrick, for years, a couple different teams, and he wasn't a fast guy, but he made a lot of first downs. If something broke down, getting out of the pocket and making plays with his legs, and he was an older player and had no problem doing it.
How about the
Jordan Malott was talking the other day about how there's been an emphasis on getting out of the huddle quicker,
Yes.
getting the line quicker. Why is that important? How's that going to help?
Yeah, I think in general, when you can push the tempo right as an offense, now you put the defense in stress, right? So that's something we want to continue to do and just kind of operate faster. I think that's something that can help everybody. It gives us more time to see things and just operate with more efficiency.
how about the logistics of things, install terminology? How much has that changed? Jalen made a big part of that terminology change. You were here before, and with Kellen. Any of that new?
Yeah, I think we've tried to streamline as much as we can to keep it consistent for the guys. But at the end of every year, I think I talked about this in the spring, is when you look at it as a whole and you can take take steps out of it and kind of see the big picture, you can basically say, okay, if we put this over there and this over there, it's a little cleaner for guys that are now coming into a new system, right? Because the guys that have been here know the history of it. But if you're a new player, an A.J. Dillon, some of these other guys, it's a little bit different. They don't have the history of the offense. So when you can put things and move them into other buckets, it's easier to learn, and then it kind of allows you to expand on it too. So I think there is a little bit of that, but nothing dramatic, if that makes sense. So go ahead.
You mentioned the emphasis you guys placed on limiting turnovers, but I guess what's your risk tolerance for Jalen to maybe take more chances in this?
Yeah, I think really in practice, right, we talked about this. Now's the time to take some chances, see what you can do, and see what it feels like and kind of where the ball can go and what you're comfortable with. And then, in games, obviously, every situation is different. Sometimes you can take a risk. Sometimes the play requires you to take a risk, and sometimes it doesn't. So I think it's just understanding the identity of the play, and now is the time a little bit to take some chances and see what happens.
How many plays would have a higher risk?
What's that?
Calling a play knowing that there would be a higher risk, how many more of those are you willing to take?
It just depends on what the defense is doing. Each week it can be very, very different. Sometimes you have a few, sometimes you don't. It really depends on the defense that you're getting. Sideline.
Jalen talked about, his comfort level this many years here. How's that work?
I think his comfort level has increased so much. Like I said, our quarterback meetings have been so good. The dialogue between him, myself, and Scott and everybody in there with all the quarterbacks, and the understanding of what we want to do and how to push it and change and maybe do some different things, to where as he gets more comfortable, his suggestions are obviously well taken too, to where I feel like as a team we can put things together and give him a chance to do what he wants to do at times. But I think really it just comes down to just being able to adjust. I think he sees the game really well now, to where when he comes off the field, even in between series in practice, he's able to see it and say like, hey, it was this, this, and this. And so it's really improved. It's good. What's that? So no, because I've been on the field for so long, and when I called it in New York into fits and I did a lot of that kind of stuff, I was on the field. I'm kind of used to it, so I have no problem doing it. And I like the interaction with the quarterback. I've kind of been in that mode, the last 4 years here, so I've kind of pretty much always done that.
You mentioned certain times last season when he stepped in and made the final calls on plays. How do you guys anticipate handling those conversations?
I mean, I've been a part of them for the last 4 years, so I kind of know when and how they're coming up. And, it's just kind of the flow of the game. Sometimes it's just situationally, sometimes it's just a suggestion. And for the most part, it's worked pretty well.
Yeah, if you're talking to play calling over here, they don't talk about how fun it is.
Yeah.
How eager are you to play in sport? What's the most fun part about it to you?
It is fun. Like, I look forward to practice every day to see what we can do and what's going to happen. Obviously, it's a challenge, but it is fun because really what you're doing is you're painting a big picture for everybody, and you're giving the identity of what you want to do and to see where it goes. So it is a challenge, but it's a lot of fun. It's no different than going out and playing a round of golf. You never know what's going to happen until you swing, and then you kind of go from there and react to it. So it's a lot of fun.
When it comes to the situational work, we see Nick kind of every once in a while fall out of situations.
Yep.
For you as a play caller, you put yourself through those situations.
I have, and over the last 4 years, I've been a big part of that. So for me, it's not much different. I've kind of been in that role before, so it's pretty normal right now.
Kevin, so your offense has been together for a few years now. How beneficial is that, especially early in camp, when you kind of just jump right into maybe the quicker for different installations, maybe you can kind of move past some, different things and get a little more advanced with the situational stuff?
Yeah, I think it really helps, right? Because you're always building on what we've done from the past. And you can push the envelope as far as like, hey, let's try this off of that because we've been doing this for a while. So it is fun to kind of do that kind of stuff and go through that and push the guys and stress them to see what we can get away with. And if it works now, hopefully it works later.
In your past stops, kind of the vertical passing game's been a big part of what you've done. A, why do you like that? And B, will that be more pronounced this season?
Say that again.
So vertical passing game has been a big part of what you've done in the past. A, why do you like that? And it can be, is that something that's going to be more pronounced this season?
Yeah, I think really comes down to what the defense gives us, obviously, and we have really good players on the perimeter, right? So anytime you have good players on the perimeter, you want to give them as many opportunities as you can to make big plays, and Jalen's really good at it. So I think as much as we can do that, it'll definitely benefit us.
When you look at the offensive line, what have you noticed so far about Tyler Steen and how he's done like the first couple games, and and obviously the competition there?
Tyler's done a really good job. I mean, he's done a good job stepping in for us the last few years. You can feel his presence out there now. He's more comfortable. I think he's done a really nice job. I think if you ask the other O-line guys, and they've even talked about it a little bit, it's just how much more he's grown as a person and kind of his personality out there.
What do you see from Dillion so far? I mean, what kind of element do you think he brings to this offense? How does he complement Saquon?
You know, it's interesting because he is a different kind of player. He is a big guy, right, that can run downhill and do different things. And what's actually been really good to see is he's done a good job catching the ball out of the backfield and his versatility. So it just gives us another guy that we can put out there in a different piece where we can move other pieces around. So it'll be fun to use him this year.
Have you spent a lot of time thinking about Saquon's workload?
You know, it's interesting. We've kind of talked about that, him and I have, but I think it's very game specific, right? You know, it depends on how the flow of the game goes and how we'll use it. He does a really good job of knowing himself, right? When he needs to come out, when he wants to kind of go back in. So a lot of that will be on him, obviously, during games, and he's really good about paying attention to that.
In the spring, Jeffrey had mentioned about sort of looking at fullback, maybe moving, obviously move Ben to the offensive side of the ball. How big of an emphasis is that to add that in a little bit more?
It's just another thing we can do, right? So the more you can stress the defense, the better you are, right? And we've done a little bit of it, and we'll just kind of continue to expand upon that package and see where it can take it. Because Ben's a really good athlete. I don't think people realize how good of an athlete he is. So it's been fun to have him out there right now.
What's the understanding of what Dawson can do different having a few losses with him?
I think the full offseason obviously helps everybody, and that's kind of what you can see from the spring until now. Everybody's starting to grow their game, and kind of the knowledge of the system and the verbiage just kind of comes secondhand. We can just go out there and roll. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeff.
What could you give me?
Everything.
It ain't no doggone tomorrow, fellas. What are you gonna bring to the doggone turkey? Are you gonna bust somebody in their mouth? Are you gonna do your doggone job? Are you gonna play from your doggone chest? Are you gonna play from your heart and get everything you doggone got? Cause I'ma do that. They don't respect us. They don't know about our heart, man. That thing is beating your doggone chest right now. Whatever you got today, I'll